Family betrayal. Charlie Kirk's sister spills the dirt on his texts about Erica O. For crying out loud, can you believe this mess? Charlie Kirk, the golden boy of the MAGA circus, gets gunned down at some podunk university event in Utah back in September. And now his own damn sister is out here airing the family's dirty laundry like it's a Black Friday sale on secrets. We're talking shocking texts that paint Erica Kirk, Charlie's oh-so-perfect widow, not as the grieving saint the right-wing echo chamber wants her to be, but as some kind of scheming operator who might have had her fingers in more pies than just baking apple pie for the Patriots. And get this, it's all blowing up Turning Point USA, that conservative youth cult Charlie built from scratch, into a full-blown dumpster fire of infighting, conspiracy rants, and donor meltdowns. If you're not face-palming yet, stick around, because this story's got more twists than a politician dodging taxes, and I'm here to lay it all out without the sugarcoating, because honestly, who needs that crap when the truth is this juicy and ugly? Let's rewind a bit, because you can't appreciate the knife in the back without knowing how the blade got sharpened. Charlie Kirk, this 31-year-old wonderkind who somehow convinced a generation of college kids that wearing red hats makes you a revolutionary, gets popped, shot right in the chest, while yapping about freedom or whatever at Utah Valley University. The shooter. Some 22-year-old local yokel named Tyler Robinson, who's now rotting in a cell facing murder charges. No grand conspiracy there, just your run-of-the-mill nut job with a grudge. But oh no, that wouldn't do for the MAGA machine. They need drama, they need villains, and enter stage left. Candace Owens, Charlie's former sidekick turned bitter ex, who's been slinging mud like it's her full-time gig since the funeral bells tolled. Owens, you know, the one who got booted from Turning Point for being too spicy even for their taste, starts dropping these leaked texts from Charlie himself. Messages that supposedly show him raging about pro-Israel donors trying to bully him into silence on Tucker Carlson, or some such nonsense. One text that's making the rounds has Charlie griping about losing a fat Jewish check because he wouldn't play ball, and Owens is waving it around like it's the smoking gun proving Israel's Mossad whacked him to shut his mouth. Yeah, because nothing says deep state. Like a random Utah kid with a rifle, classic Owens, turning tragedy into her personal QAnon fanfic. But here's where it gets really personal, and where Charlie's sister, let's call her the family whistleblower, though her name's been floated around as some insider close to the Kirks, decides enough's enough and flips the script harder than a bad acid trip. According to the chatter exploding across YouTube and those sketchy conservative forums, this sister ain't leaking to defend Erica. Nah, she's torching her. The texts in question. Not the ones Owens peddled, but a whole other batch, supposedly from Charlie's phone, dumped straight to federal investigators after the shooting but now accidentally surfacing in family circles. And what do they say about Erica? Buckle up, because it's the kind of betrayal that makes you wonder if those two ever loved each other, or if it was all just a power play dressed in wedding vows. Picture this. Charlie venting to his sister in late-night rants about how Erica's been cozying up to White House insiders, yeah, the Trump orbit, because of course, brokering deals that smell fishy as hell. Like funneling Turning Point cash into pet projects that pad her pockets while Charlie's out there grinding for the cause. One alleged message has him calling her the real puppet master, accusing her of arranging backroom handshakes. With big money GOP suits to lock in favors for post-election windfalls, all while he's sweating bullets over donor drama. She's playing me like a fiddle, sis, one text reportedly reads, and if I don't watch it, she'll bury me deeper than these Israel fights. Harsh, you bet your ass. And the kicker? These weren't just gripes, they hint at Erica pushing for an arranged alliance. Maybe even their marriage itself was less rom-com and more merger, with her family ties to evangelical power brokers sealing the deal before Charlie even knew what hit him. Now, don't get me wrong, this could all be smoke without fire. Owens herself is getting dragged for possibly faking texts, with folks online pointing out spelling goofs like incestuous misspelled in a 2017 chat, which screams Photoshop more than authenticity. Turning Point's mouthpiece, Andrew Calvert, jumped on the Charlie Kirk show to swear the Owens leaks were real but twisted, shared with feds for the investigation but yanked out of context to stir the pot. Erica. She's been radio silent, holed up trying to glue the organization back together, while donors scatter like roaches at dawn. Insiders whisper she's exhausted, fighting off this tidal wave of speculation that paints her as the Black Widow who orchestrated the whole thing for control. And Charlie's sister. She's not stopping at texts. Word is she's spilling about White House secrets, like how Erica allegedly lobbied for cushy gigs in a potential Trump 2.0 admin trading on Charlie's corpse for clout. One viral clip has the sister going off in an interview, screaming about betrayal and how Erica's fake tears at the memorial were just audition footage for her sympathy tour. It's chaos, pure and simple, with tiptoe splintering, staff quitting, events canceled, and that once mighty conservative youth army now looking like a high school clique after prom night implodes. Look, as someone who's watched the MAGA train wreck from the sidelines, shaking my head at how these clowns turn every hiccup into Armageddon, this whole saga is peak hypocrisy. Charlie spent years railing against elites and deep state cabals, building an empire on fear-mongering about liberals and foreigners, only for his inner circle to eat itself alive over the same dirty money games he pretended to despise. Erica, if half this is true, comes off as the ultimate operator, marrying up, maneuvering behind the scenes, and now clutching the reins while the vultures circle. And the sister. God bless her reckless heart, but dropping this bomb now feels less like justice and more like settling old scores with the widow who stole the spotlight. It's all so damn predictable. The right loves their martyrs until the martyrdom gets messy, then it's knives out and everyone's scrambling for the last lifeboat. Meanwhile, the real victims. Those wide-eyed kids Charlie recruited, now watching their hero's legacy get shredded in real time, learning the hard way that politics ain't about principles. It's about who leaks first and leaks loudest. But here's the fearless truth. No chaser. This exposure is a gift to anyone sane enough to see through the red hat haze. It shines a brutal light on how these grifters operate. Texts flying in the dark about donors and deals, families fracturing under the weight of ambition, and a movement so brittle it crumbles at the first family feud. Charlie found out too late, all right. He was knee-deep in the swamp he swore to drain, texting his frustrations to the one person he thought had his back, only for her to flip and flood the zone. Erica's scrambling, Owens is cackling and turning point. It's teetering on the edge of irrelevance, which, frankly, might be the best outcome for a group that's done more to radicalize bored teens than actually change a damn thing. If you're anti-MAGA like me, and hell after this, who isn't? Take it as vindication. Their house of cards was always one leaked iMessage away from collapse. So watch it burn, laugh at the irony, and remember, next time some firebrand preaches purity from the podium, check their family chat first. Erica's Epstein fury, threatening Crockett over phantom ties and Charlie's cash grab end. Jesus Christ, what a goddamn circus this has turned into with Erica Kirk, the freshly minted queen of Turning Point USA. Supposedly going full scorched earth on Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett for supposedly spilling the beans on her so-called connections to Jeffrey Epstein's sleazy little club of creeps and power brokers. All while the internet's still buzzing about whether Charlie got plugged, just so she could cash in on his empire and keep her dirty laundry locked away forever. I mean, come on, in a world where MAGA martyrs are supposed to be untouchable saints, here we have Erica, the grieving widow who's barely had time to swap out her black veil for a power suit, allegedly firing off threats like she's auditioning for a bad Lifetime movie. Demanding Crockett back off or else, because nothing screams innocence like trying to muzzle a sitting rep over rumors that even the fact-checkers are laughing off as pure fiction cooked up in some troll's basement. And let's not kid ourselves. This whole mess reeks of the kind of desperate damage control that only happens when the skeletons in your closet start rattling loud enough to wake the neighbors, especially when those skeletons involve names like Epstein, Trump, and a dead husband's legacy, that's suddenly worth millions in donor dollars and media gigs, leaving everyone wondering if Erica's playing the long game for wealth and silence. Or if it's just the right-wing rage machine eating its own tail again, because that's what it does best, spit out conspiracies faster than a kid with a sugar high. Picture the timeline here, because you have to get why this is hitting like a brick to the face. Charlie Kirk, the 31-year-old firebrand who turned Turning Point into a conservative kid-wrangling powerhouse, gets taken out in September 2025 at that Utah Valley University gig. Shot dead by some 22-year-old nobody named Tyler Robinson, who's now cooling his heels in jail with murder charges hanging over him like a bad hangover. No grand plot, just another angry dude with a gun in a country that's drowning in them. But oh hell no. That simple truth won't fly in MAGA land, where every tragedy needs a villain with tentacles reaching into the deep state. Fast forward a couple months, and the vultures are circling Erica harder than flies on roadkill. With viral YouTube rants and X threads claiming she's not just inheriting Charlie's throne, but maybe orchestrated the whole damn thing to dodge whatever bombshells he was about to drop on the Epstein files. Those infamous ledgers of rich pervs and politicians that Charlie himself ranted about releasing back in July, calling out Trump for stonewalling the truth while he built his brand on draining the swamp. Now enter Jasmine Crockett, the Texas Democrat with a mouth like a steel trap and zero patience for bullshit, who's been on a tier demanding the DOJ and FBI cough up the full Epstein dirt. Firing off letters to Attorney General Pamela Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel just last week about why the feds are burying Trump's name in those files like it's yesterday's trash, vowing to drag every shady connection into the light no matter who squirms. But here's the twist that has the fringes foaming. Fake-ass rumors start swirling in October that Crockett's gunning straight for Erica, alleging she got a shady $350,000 wire from some ghost Delaware shell company that poofed 4 days later right before Charlie's lights went out. With Crockett supposedly yelling for a federal probe because ordinary folks get grief, not secret payoffs. That's guilt, not sympathy. And tying it all to Epstein recruiter vibes that make Erica look like the Black Widow who snuffed her hubby to protect her spot in the pedo pipeline. And yeah, I get it. The sarcasm drips like honey when you realize this threat from Erica is straight out of a clickbait hellscape, with YouTube videos popping up like weeds titled, "Erica Kirk Threatens Jasmine Crockett for Leaking Her Ties to Epstein Ring." Racking up views from the same rubes who think Q drops are gospel, but Snopes and every other fact hound worth a damn has shredded these claims to confetti, rating them false faster than you can say debunked. Pointing out Erica was a high school kid when Epstein's trafficking web got cracked open, no name in the files, no recruiter badge, zilch on the Romania charity scams where her evangelical outfit, Romanian Angels, supposedly snatched orphans for sex rings in the UK and Israel. Pure vapor, no bans, no charges, just online sleuths high on their own supply connecting dots that aren't even there, like her Miss Arizona 2012 gig under Trump's pageant umbrella meaning she high-fived Epstein at a mixer or some crap. But Erica, bold as brass and careless with the optics, doesn't just ignore it. According to these viral clips that are more meme than manifesto, she's out here threatening Crockett with legal hellfire for leaking non-existent ties, as if a congresswoman's got time to dox a conservative widow over fanfic, when Crockett's real beef is with the Trump crew shielding Epstein's ghost from sunlight, demanding those files drop so America sees the rot at the top. It's peak hypocrisy, isn't it? Charlie built his shtick on exposing elites, yapping about how the powerful prey on the weak, only for his widow to inherit the keys and suddenly play the victim card when the same scrutiny bounces her way. All while Turning Point bleeds staff and donors faster than a stuck pig because nobody wants to bankroll a martyr machine that's starting to look like a money pit for one woman's glow-up. Dig deeper, though, and you hit the ugly underbelly that makes you question if Charlie's end was less random shooter and more convenient exit ramp for Erica's ambitions, with whispers of that blueprint. He left her, Some diary of dreams and visions she waved around on Fox like a holy relic, vowing to keep the fight bold and unafraid. But insiders are side-eyeing it hard, wondering if it was code for cut the Israel donor crap and cozy up to the White House suits. Before he got too hot for his own good, the wealth angle. Oh, it's singing like a canary. Turning Point's coffers were already fat with MAGA millions, but Charlie's death flips the script, turning Erica from side piece to CEO overnight, with life insurance windfalls, book deals, speaking tours. And that tearful memorial hug from Trump himself that lit up X like a Christmas tree, fueling theories. She met the Orange Oracle through pageants and Epstein's orbit long before Charlie, brokering alliances that had her hubby feeling like a third wheel in his own marriage. Was he ended for benefits and silence? Hell, the speculation's thicker than fog. Charlie griped on his show about Epstein cover-ups, pushing for releases that could have scorched earth for Trump's inner circle. And if Erica's tangled in even a thread of that through her pre-Kirk pageant days or those unproven Romania runs, then yeah. Plugging him quiets the noise while she scoops the pot. No more fights over donor strings or backroom deals that had him texting his sister about feeling played. But evidence. Slimmer than a supermodel's waistline. Just enough smoke from anonymous leaks and Owens-style feuds to keep the fire alive, with Erica's threats. Coming off less like righteous anger and more like a cornered animal lashing out, because threatening Crockett, who's knee-deep in real Epstein accountability, only spotlights how fragile this widow's armor really is. Look, as an anti-MAGA diehard who's watched this clown car crash and burn more times than I can count, this saga's a goddamn gift-trapped indictment of the whole rotten enterprise, where family feuds and Epstein echoes expose the grift at the core. Charlie railed against the swamp but swam in it. Erica's stepping into shoes stained with the same mud. And now, with Crockett poking the bear on file releases, the threats fly not because truth hurts, but because the lies are crumbling under their own weight, leaving a movement that's less revolution and more reality TV meltdown. If Erica's barking at shadows, it's because the light's finally hitting the corners she thought were safe, and whether Charlie's silence was bought with bullets or just bad luck, one thing's clear. The Queen's crown is slipping, and the court's turning on her faster than rats off a sinking ship. So laugh at the chaos, call out the con, and remember, in the Game of Thrones these fools play, the only winners are the ones watching from the cheap seats, shaking their heads at how the mighty MAGA falls, not with a bang, but with a whine and a wild accusation. I just want to thank you all, like, share, and follow to stay connected. I am Santiago del Carmen Maria, the Queen of Crowning Thoughts, because I say it like it is. Copyright 2025 independent writer, Crowning Thoughts truth speaker, AI video content creator, writer, blogger, Santiago, DC. Maria, all rights reserved.